isto, eu vi 9. Então, tipo, Açores. ISN Algarve. ISN Aveiro. ISN Castelo Branco. ISN Coimbra. ISN Covilhã. ISN Évora. ISN Lisboa. ISN Minho. ISN Porto. ISN Tomar. E ISN Lutado. Pronto, não temos quórum.
Temos sim.
Não
Temos
temos
sim.
esperado.
Parece aprovado.
Vamos estacionar lá.
Oh, Patrícia, pode vir aqui, por favor. Pode chegar aqui, por favor. É, eu escrevi aqui a frase do que está no antigo. É
Uma aprendizagem boa.
Olha, peraí.
É,
Diz-me.
imagina, isto está mal. São
Vê
dois
a
terços.
fórmula.
Mas isto é a fórmula já vemos. O foco é só isto. 2 terços de 12.
A fórmula está só este melhor que este.
Ah, pois, exato.
Sim.
Ah, pronto, ok.
Mas eu quero os certos.
É?
Sim. Porquê que a fórmula está mal?
Não sei.
Porque, imagina...
Pronto, mas podem ir, é às 9h30 só.
Espera aí, então eu penso. O que pode ser é que a fórmula está igual.
Pois é isso, é isso.
E este...
Não, o primeiro cor inicial também está a mesma fórmula.
Mandem mensagem a dizer que não houve cor.
Mas imagina, no primeiro quórum, tu
Peraí,
tinhas
deixa-me
os...
ver.
the first, guys. So the first topic is going to be the candidacy presentation of Eduardo. So Eduardo, if you are ready, you can come here. And I'm going to open the Q&A, okay? Malta.
Tens um avisito para passarem nos baixos? Yeah. E o microfone deve estar ligado. Patrícia! Ela aqui está ligado.
Hello everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be here surrounded by so many volunteers, by so many dedicated people from all local sections of Portugal. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for being present to the presentation of my candidacy to the IT manager position of ESN Portugal. So it's not
Olha, mas podes pegar, né? Para aqui, para o computador. Está ligado do lado, tá? Para o computador.
Não, mas não precisas de apontar, pois não. Não tem.
Está ligado do lado.
Olha, tenta ver. Não.
Pronto, eu não posso ir normalmente.
Eu passo.
So who I am? I'm just a chill guy in IT. Why, you may ask? First of all, because IT is my passion, and because some friends call me in a friendly way a chill guy. But let's focus. And who really I am? Well, I'm Eduardo. I'm from Minho and from this amazing section that is ESN Minho. I live in Braga and my background is in engineering and management of information systems here in this beautiful university. So, yeah, my ESN path. I joined ESN Minho in 2024 as a newbie, and in 2025 I assumed the role of WPA and also the president of the audit team. And fast forward this year, I joined the IT department of ESN Portugal as data analyst, and I also joined the IT committee in ESN International. And I was also the section delegate of Minho in ENM. Okay. Let's go to the first focal point. I hope you had the opportunity to read my application form in GA app. My first focal point, I want to expand IT knowledge and opportunities across all local sections. I intend to create manuals and guides to be delivered to local sections to ensure that all boards have their work made easier and feel supported. I will, for example, create guides and manuals in Google Workspace. I think everyone already uses it, but it's a very important tool and that we can take very opportunities from it. I will create manuals to local websites. I will also create, and I already created with the help of Miguel, guides to obtain IT grants. And final, Event Hub, because it's a platform that we all use and it's very important. Let's go to focal point number 2. I intend to maintain and improve national projects. Of course, the ESN Portugal website is very, very important because it's the first contact that many partners, many universities, many students have with ESN Portugal is the first contact. So it's important that it ranks first on Google and it's visual appealing. And of course, in Event Hub, I plan to propose improvements to the developers, because Event Hub is a tool developed by outside company in an area that I consider quite urgent, that it's data privacy and digital security, because we need to protect the privacy, the data of our students and of our CSNers. And I will also launch a consultation to the local sections after Toscanelli's recommendation to ensure that everyone can give their opinion to the developers. I also intend to create a digital survival guide. I know it's already a project that it's created by the communication team, and I plan to launch it. And ENG and ENM websites, I plan to create a website for ENG and other national games to show, for example, the live scores, live results, and to maintain and maybe improve if we found that it's needed, the ENM website. And my last focal point is the digitalization of ESN cards and other IT updates from ESN International, always in consultation with the local sections. The digitalization of ESN cards is a project that's been developed by ESN International, and they plan to implement worldwide in all countries, all local sections. I will closely work with them and talk with them to understand what they expect from us, what are the deadlines, what are the requirements, but always taking into account the interests of the local sections. And I think this is very important. And I have news that according to ESN International, Portugal is not in the first wave of countries to implement the digital ESN card. This can be positive, because if we implement, for example, in the second wave of countries, the project will be much more mature and developed. So this was my presentation. Thank you again, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, the Q&A is open. We don't have any question right now. Is someone adding to the speakers list? Yes, so Aris, if you want, you can do the question now, and you're right.
I can start. RCS and Porto. We would like to ask you, first of all, congratulations.
Louder.
It's really nice that you're bringing this candidates here. We would like to ask you a little bit more about your experience in SN International and in the AI team. It's really interesting that you are bringing something like this also in SN Portugal, and we would like to understand a little bit more what you are doing there.
Okay. Just to tell me your name, please.
Sorry?
Just tell me your name, please.
Aris.
Okay, thank you, Aris, for your question. I discovered the international international IT team after I went to the IT community meetings in Tallinn in February. I had the opportunity to talk to many IT managers from other countries and I learned about new opportunities that I will also want to share to other people. In IT team, I joined in May, so the work is in the beginning. I joined the IT team. The ESN International intends to create a chatbot that volunteers can talk, and it's like a wiki, but in a chatbot. So it will make easier the way that the volunteers can learn about all the organization of ESN. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes, you can do the second.
RCS and Porto. We would like to learn a little bit more about your vision, your ideas, and your opinion. Because like everything is changing. We're having so many like things in IT that we are also implementing in our section. And we want to understand a bit more your opinion about sections that they want to build their own websites and leave from Satellite 5 because it's something that is getting too long. We need to evolve, and we would like to know a bit more about your opinion if you are open to help those sections also, etc.
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a very interesting topic, the Satellite 5. We are currently in Satellite 4. I know that ESN International is developing a tool to migrate the websites in Satellite 4 to Satellite 5 because right now we don't have a tool to do this. So creating a website in Satellite 5 right now would implicate that we had to build everything from scratch again. And I think some sections will not be happy to copy and paste every single page and partner and events to the new Satellite 5. If they want, I can help them, yes, of course. So I'm very open to let the sections be open to, if they want to migrate, yes, of course I will, of course, help you, and we can make this together as a team. Yeah. Thank you.
Like it was also a bit more to sections that they want to leave from Satellite and build their own websites.
To build their own websites in different tools, for example, WordPress. Yeah, I think we can be open about it. I think it's not the best practice because ESN International, they build the technology and they make tests, and it's ideal to maintain the same visual identity across all sections. So I think it will be ideal to keep in the satellite. But if sections want to explore other technologies, I don't have a reason to say no. We don't. I think we can be open. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Because we have two appreciations. But first, we would do the questions. Okay. So Barbosa.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for joining this challenge that is applying for the national board. I'm really glad that back in community meetings and even before when you started your journey as a WPA in Minho, that I was there and present to give you a hand when you need it, and I've always considered you a really proactive person and someone that chases and asks questions, and I believe that is one of the key features that somebody has to have to actually make changes. So I truly believe that you are a great fit for this position.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to hear this from you. I had the opportunity to work with you and see how competent you are and how you created this amazing IT department in ESN Portugal. So
Duda.
So I will talk a little bit on behalf of ASN Minho, but also on my personal behalf. I'll probably start with ASN Minho and try not to get emotional. We are very, very, very proud of all the work that you put in our network. Our section has never had someone so motivated to do the work that you do. And I don't, guys, really, I don't understand nothing from my like, believe me. I have a problem, I send a message to Eduardo, like the most stupid thing is like, can you please fix this? And he fixes it. So he's when my cell phone is burning hot, the guy that kind of works it out. So he does this also in our section, and now on a more personal note, I want to thank you for being the person that puts my crazy ideas in action. Like I said yesterday, my CNBC, when I was taking a shower, I had the idea to create a housing platform, and I sent a 5-minute I will always be your #1 supporter. And if everything goes well, I hope that we'll work together now in the national.
I just want to say that Yes and Minho is like a family for me. In the last these 2 years, I lived Yes and Yes and Minho every single day. So thank you for being part of my life and my journey also.
Okay. Before we continue to the next topic, and now that we finish all the candidacy presentations, I'm just going very fast just to explain how is going to be the voting procedure. Okay, just for you to make sure that you have access to everything that you need. But basically, the candidacies they will be voted separately using the GA app. That's why we ask you to make sure that you have access to your section email. Okay, and the rest, all the documents, they are going to be public voting, okay? So we are going to use the same system of quorum check. So basically it's this. If you haven't, please, again, check that you have access to your section email, okay? To guarantee that in the moment everything is going to be okay. So we can continue to the next topic, Patrícia and Carolina. Podemos bater palmas.
Olha, testa aí o Vai ter Não, só perguntar, não importa para onde é que é. Deixa-me ligar a televisão. Não, fui eu. Spoiler. Fui eu também. Agora não sei se fui eu ou não, mas não fui eu.
Tá.
Tá ligado nos dois sítios.
Sim.
Mas imagina, a luz pisca.
Já está no...
Aqui tens o trabalho. Pisca.
Não dá para ligar aqui.
Só se trocar esta. Peraí.
Vou trabalhar aqui, Gato. Conseguiste?
É, grande jogo.
Vai, experimenta outra vez.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the evening. I know that you are all tired after these presentations, all these presentations. But we've come to the best part, the Secretariat updates. With me, I have our director, Patrícia, you already know her. But then we have Aldo, our events assistant, Margarita, our communication assistant, and Carol, our project assistant. And today we are going to have a presentation with them, for them to explain what they have been doing in the last months with us, yes, in Portugal.
Hello everyone, thank you so much. It's the longest presentation of a national platform. So I also like to preface this is a long presentation, has a lot of data. So do write down any questions or numbers or figures that you want to do. And I'm very happy that this is the shortest Secretariat updates with 33 slides. You're welcome. So I'll quickly pass on. So we can happily say that we have a full staff secretariat at the moment. I presented on their behalf Carol and Margarita and Diana Such, but I'll give them. Do you want me to talk about what you've been doing, or is it okay? So they have been working with me since the beginning of March. So they arrived just before Diana Such. But now, someone that you haven't heard about, other than maybe emailing you through the national platform, group is Aldo, which is our events assistant, or as we lovingly call him, Edgar's Minho. And I will let him introduce himself. So Aldo?
Hello everyone. Oops. Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm Aldo. I am staying in Portugal as events assistant at ESN Portugal. I'm from Naples, Italy, and this is a bit of my background. I hold a master's degree in languages and intercultural communication. I did my Erasmus in Malta, so I could have a little bit of experience with ESN. I was volunteer before. I volunteered at LXXVIII Italy, dealing with volunteers international mobility, and we also had some collaboration with ESN Naples. And I have work experience in a similar field. Here are some of my hobbies. Not very original: football, hiking, books. Yeah, so before ESN, again, I worked abroad in the context of international mobility and student services within an operational role. I was a staff coordinator for study programs for Italian high school students. And yeah, within ESN, as you can tell from the name of my position, I am supporting the organization of holding and evaluation of events. And,
So, the presentation, even though it's long, we do not have enough time to go through everything that we do every day. But I would like to shout out officially that besides everything you're going to see, Margarita has been working on the visual identity of MESH, of ENG, and the Census for All project. She was part of Social Impact Team Days, the visual identity for Youth Advocacy Training in Tomar, as well as photographers for the event. She's going to present the logo calendar. And Carol has been helping me with all projects. She is the one that goes with me to the consortium meetings. She's been helping with MESH as well, with the Youth Advocacy Training, as well as the events track, the grants track that you're going to see. So they've been doing good work. Just be mindful that we are not going to talk about all of it, just the short amount of time that we have. Okay, so as usual, yeah? Okay. As usual, I've divided this presentation into 3 sections, and I would like to remind you what they are and what is different this day. We will start to talk about coordinated grants. So, as I mentioned before, this is projects that ESN Portugal is legally responsible for applying, managing, and reporting. Then partnerships for grants, where other organizations apply, manage, and we are partners in and get a small part of the project grant. And then we'll have another thing that is new, which is secretariat initiatives, which is other things that we've been doing that are useful to you that we think we should highlight during the secretariat updates. If I go any fast, someone make a simple, calm down. Okay, coordinated projects, stuff that we are doing. So we'll start with some good news. So our Programa de Apoio ao Ativismo Juvenil has been approved for 2026. As I mentioned in Açores, we have a slightly new addition to the usual plan, which is a heavier grant money for IT stuff, mostly to cover what was last year's unexpected costs in ITs and servers. We are happy to say that with a lot of Miguel's work, we have managed to cut down this grant a tiny bit and distribute it back up, so we don't have to lean so heavily on that. In terms of money, it is our official best year so far in Parte. Our approved amount was... Yeah.
É só porque tipo, trocamos aqui e temos de trocar novamente, senão a câmera não funciona. Portanto, vais ficar sem ponteiro.
Não, mas eu faço assim.
I'm gonna get what?
Vais
Vais
ficar
ficar
sem
sem
ponteiro.
ponteiro.
Oh!
Mas olha, tem o teu telemóvel.
What's my phone?
Sim.
What?
Dá-me
I am
um
very
ponteiro.
confused.
Dá-me um ponteiro.
Okay. I will keep talking while we do
Sim, sim,
the
sim.
thing. So, the grant that was approved is there in blue, so 16,000. And as you can see on the left, in comparison to 2025, it was 11,000. So we were really excited to have this increase. If you were to ask me why is better than last year's, I couldn't tell you, because I asked for the same amount of money, which was, we requested 50% of what we would spend on these activities, which is 33,000, but as we expected, we never get a full approval. So this is the amount that we have to spend on our action plan with IPDJ for 2026. We also have some happy news that our PAI, or Plano para o Apoio Infraestrutural for 2026, was also approved. It was a more humble amount this year. It was 270 euros because the amount of equipment that we requested was smaller in comparison to last year. So until the end of the year, we'll have to acquire a new lapel mic set for the communication team so they can do very funny TikToks, I am assuming. We will also get a high definition webcam so we can all look nice at the national platforms, and a video stabilizer, again, for, I assume, funny TikToks. This money will have to be spent and purchased until the end of 2026, and then it will be reported to IPDJ. Next. Thank you. Okay. So, as previously mentioned, not only in that yesterday at the national platform, but also during that funny sketch that we saw, I'm not making a judgment call. We applied, as you heard in BNSOS, to a project called Safe Sports for All, which is a Erasmus Plus grant in a small-scale partnership to support what would be sports-related initiatives for us, for ESN Italy and ESN France, because this is a joint application that we are leading. To the right, you can see the budget that was submitted, and this project was submitted in late February of this year. I would like to point out that it is uncommonly late for not to be approved or not approved this late in the game. To let you know that we contacted the national agency during June, the beginning of June, and they said they had no deadline or no time set for the evaluation commission for this project. Margarita, as I would like to remind you, did all the visual identity, so as soon as it gets approved, we will share that with you. And as you can see there, I expected the results in May, so if you have anyone at the national agency that you know how that's going, we would welcome it. But regardless of the grant is approved or not, we are already doing, as a secretary, some work to prepare for ENG, and I think it's Aldo's turn to talk a bit about that. So next.
Okay, so as Patricia said, even though the grant has not been approved yet, the secretary wanted to get ahead with some work. And personally, I work on something that is normally impacting the budget most, which is accommodation. So we wanted to see what was the trend in pricing within a database of hostels or hotels or in general accommodation we already had. So you can see 15 hotels contacted, 10 hotels replied. But the most important thing was to point out the trend. It is a relatively unstable pricing trend. Comparable accommodation rates increased by an average of 6% per person per night. And this means that, of course, being unstable, the pricing could change also in the following week. So it's important to understand that the trend was mixed. Some hotels increased the prices, some of them reduced them, so it's not necessarily a bad trend, and one maintained the same rate. But the most important thing is to understand that it's very, very volatile and changing.
Thank you so much. So we would really like to highlight the need for the partnerships officer for the OC of ENG has to really do a good job and really work with us on this, and we will hopefully get you that grant. Next, good news. As previously mentioned, and as was shared in Benesouros, the National Board and Secretary worked on an application to support ENEM 2025 through Turismo Portugal Incentives Program. And we heard a couple of weeks ago that was approved in the quantity of 15,000 euros, with the division that I believe 12,000 is from Turismo Portugal and the remaining is from Associação do Turismo Portugal, as is a double funded initiative. Now, there's a big exclamation point there, because not only is it a program that I personally never worked for, so I don't know if the timelines are correct, but to let you know that we applied to this project before fees were set. It was not replied, we had no response until then, and then it was approved after the event had happened. So we took a gamble and included their symbols in our t-shirts and our websites, and like, it's gonna get approved. And it was! So thank you for the witch on Etsy that I hired. She did a good job. I would like to point out that this money is not here, so we have not received it. We are still doing a lot of paperwork for Turismo Portugal, so they requested new paperwork this week, and we'll have to seek out Associação de Turismo do Algarve individually for that part of the grant. So it's still rather new. The money is approved, the money is not here. And secondly, we will also have to report on the whole event, which I'm already starting to work on. That also, there's a possibility that because some expenses cannot be eligible or some other reason, we cannot guarantee that this 100% of this money will not have to be returned upon report. There's always a risk when reporting projects that a small percentage goes back because something was not eligible or something like that. So this money is related to NM 2025. Whatever happens after that, if the money comes, we will be there to support you if it needs. Hopefully, if this incentive program continues, I feel more comfortable now seeing how it works, so it's something to look out in the future, but of course that will be a decision for the next national board. Now, it is sort of done. I would like to remind you that ESM Portugal, mainly Carolina, and her great emailing skills to people in Lisboa that reply very fast. Not ESM Lisboa, just people in Lisboa. Different. We got a support from a program called Ando Conhecer Portugal, where we got the hostel for LBM Lisboa reducted in that value estimated there. We only had to pay the tourist tax, and the tourist tax was put on another grant, which is the next thing, which is through next. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Not that one. Apparently, I mixed up. It was supposed to be the next one. But we will see that grant that had other things also supported LVM Lisboa. Next. Okay. So now we're starting to going on still ongoing projects. So we are hosting our 3 lovely folks until the end of August. We have set dates for them to leave for Carol and Aldo. Margarita was still working on that. But we will say goodbye to them no later than the first week of September. And then we will start reporting on the project that is due to be sent to the national agency, I believe, until December 31st. Next. We also have the good news that I believe I had shared at Penasource. If not, I'm sorry for the correction. We have a budget approved for 3 new volunteers for 2027. In that value that is there. To remind you that the positions or the kind of positions that will be joining me hopefully next year are not decided in the application. Is basically an application that is made to be general enough that then we can select what kind of positions we would like to have in the Secretariat for next year. But in general, it follows the same trend lines for as previous years. Next. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. LBM Lisboa had 2 things happening at the same time. On Friday, we had the Youth Policy Hackathon. There was an initiative that became an idea with a national agency, now the Higher Education Institute. But we requested a grant to ESA, which is the European Student Association, Alumni Association, thank you so much. And basically we said that we would like to do an event regarding updating alumni on European policy related to Erasmus+, and we got a grant that was at most approved. But then, if you remember, I said that the value that was approved was around 5,000-ish euros at Penasource. The value reported is 335, and that will be the maximum of the approval. Why is that? Basically, if we cannot guarantee that that money was spent in the way that was projected, we cannot receive it. So we have more international guests planned, they could not attend, so we did not spend that money. It has to go back. We had available funding for public transportation. Not everyone requested it, therefore we did not spend it, therefore it needs to go back. So every time we have a report that is done and we do not use 100% of the grant, there's always a chance that if it's not used, it needs to go back. It does not mean that it's a loss, it's just money that was not spent and we cannot legally keep it. Okay? This was reported 4 weeks, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. We have not heard feedback, but we assume everything is good. Next, we also can say that we have a grant approved from Instituto Superior Superior, or the Higher Education Institute. We ran for 2 calls, one for 10,000 euros, one for 2,000 euros. This is the one for 2,000 euros, and it's basically a way to support the national platforms that will happen in November of, that is wrong, it should say November 2026, I am so sorry. The DEX3 NPs will be supported by this grant, and that lines right there. So any shout out to any OCs in the future, the money does not transfer to each line. So if it says food, it's food money. If it's transportation money, it's transportation money. So it's a way of us supporting a bit the national platforms. But even better is that we had also a 10,000 euro grant approved by the Higher Education Institute, and we decided to support those activities at the top and the breakdown of the money below. That is also, as I expect, non-changeable funding, but if there is an issue or a change or something that needs to be fixed, I would kindly ask any OCs for these events or national platforms to always reach out to the Secretariat for double checking any grant application rules, okay? And please don't invoice stuff with sangria on it. I'm really hoping people in Brussels don't know what sangria is. And I will lose that bet. So, please be mindful, when are you an OC? I'm always there for you. Double check everything. So, we're all happy to say that we will be double supported by IPDJ and the Higher Education Institute on some activities as here. Great. Next, partnerships for grants. So these are the projects that we are not legally responsible for, but that we help, okay? And here's what's happening. The same old, same old. No, not same old, actually, news. Between Penasoch and now, we have a proposal for BSN International to be partners in a project called Intercities. And this is a project that was submitted, if not last year, 2 years ago, for CERV, which is another European Union funding line that is not Erasmus Plus, and it was not approved then, and they asked us to be partners in reapplying, and we said yes. So basically the goal is about connecting mobile learners with intercultural communities. It's about basically how mobility, EU citizenship, and intercultural learning can foster together using regionality as a theme. I would kindly ask you to go next. Oh, sorry, go back, I'm so sorry. This is a joint application between Erasmus Student Network as a whole, with ESN International leading, and the other big partner is European Federation for Intercultural Learning. So what you'll see in the budget on the next slide, please, is that we have a bunch of countries and a bunch of organizations, but we basically work in like 2 teams. And on our side, for your knowledge, the NOs that are in part of this project, it is us, Lithuania, Bulgaria, Romania, Italy, and Spain, right? And I feel also has their version of an NO, which are those countries. Those are the little budget breakdown for ESN Portugal. You will see that it has some grant money for activities and some dates. That is not meaning that we have a signed budget for any ESN Portugal activities, which just means that at some point in that timeline, if approved, we will have to see what kind of initiatives we support that are already planned, or if it means that we will have to implement a new activity. Please remember, because we have a grant, it does not automatically means it can go to an event. Sometimes our events do not match the project and we have to make something new. Wonderful. We also are happy to say that we reported on the local phase for the DETAS project that's supported with 400 euros Level Up Évora, to which I was there, so far away from everyone. I don't know why. It has been reported and has been refunded by ESN International, so all good, all is well. And then we have our same old ELCRA, which I've been talking about since 2023 or 4, but is finally running out. Next, please. Which is, we've received 2 installments, so we're barreling towards the end, toward the final result, because the only thing that is missing now is the final conference in Rome, next, which will happen in October 2026. We have 2 people that can go on behalf of ESN Portugal. They have not been assigned yet. But after this moment, I believe that we will talk about ELCRA for the last time in PN Coimbra. And I've been working here for 3 years and I talk about ELCRA in every presentation. So it's a really big project, but it's coming to an end. Lastly, we have Voices of Change. Voices of Change is also a big project with the World Scouting Movement. I would like to point out 2 things before we talk about Tomar. There is a change to the budget allocation of ESN Portugal. If you see there, our budget allocation within the pool was 33,000 and now is around 23,000. Why is that? For the youth advocacy training in Tomar, we had over 40 participants that all had to travel from different countries. We had people from as far away as Azerbaijan coming to Tomar, and we do not have the capacity in human resources to manage the event, manage the OC, and send reimbursements to all the participants, plus collect their fees, plus issue reimbursements. So the agreement that the National Board and I came to an agree is that the transportation budget would be handled by ESN International through their reimbursement platform, which is much better than anything we might have. And they took responsibility of that, and they are managing. So it's not money that we lost, it was money that was going to go to the participants. We're just not handing it out ourselves, because all year round is just me, and we have to recognize when we are not able to deal with something like that. And next, the big news is that we have Tomar. So this part will be presented by the 2 people that were part of the OC, which is Margarida and Aldo, and I'll let them do.
Okay, hello. This event took place a few weeks ago, actually, and it was very successful. It was a complex event because it wasn't just for ESN, but also for the Scouts. And I was part of the OC team together with Aldo and Carolina, Edgar, Miguel, and Pim. And it was training for advocacy for young people from the Scouts and ESN from all over the world.
Oh yeah, really interesting group of people.
So it was very complicated. There were many hardships, but we had overall very positive feedback, and Aldo will talk about it. One thing, we took pictures, but they are not available yet. We took also videos, but as soon as they...
International ComCom, it doesn't work as great as ours.
Okay, now Aldo will talk about the feedback.
Okay, so the feedbacks you see are the result of a meeting we had at the international level. And we are proud to say that the event was quite successful, so the overall feedback was positive. We started pointing out the main challenges, one being the hot weather. Probably, of course, we were expecting that in Tomar. It went a little behind our expectations, but I think we managed pretty well, providing fans, cold water, air conditioning, heating, accommodations and sunscreen. The logistics was pretty smooth. We just had one minor transport delay on the first day, but thanks to the prompt work of the OC, it was quickly solved. Another point is catering and agenda. It was a bit challenging because we had some late dietary requests. It's something that we normally take into consideration in events like this, but it was worth pointing out that it might be challenging to solve these kind of things like on the ground during the event. One thing to point out, probably the agenda was a bit too long. We didn't get positive feedbacks, but again, it's something we could take into
We did not get
account.
bad feedback.
Yeah.
You said you didn't get any good feedback.
No. We didn't get negative feedbacks on that, but it's something we pointed out, and it's something worth considering for next events. And the long agenda probably led to participants deliberately choosing not to attend dinner without telling us beforehand. So this might lead to a concern about food waste. One positive aspect was the local impact, because we had a chance to connect with some local businesses, namely pharmacies for sunscreens and creams, and
Just we got some.
like
we got some
skin product to face the weather. You see cultural heritage, because we had a chance to organize a tour at the Convent of Christ in Tomar.
Shout out to Edgar. He bullies the city hall to get us free stuff.
Yeah. And I think the main challenges were at the organizational level. So, like in the back office work before the event, we had to face several cancellations, banking and visa issues, namely being particularly with participants outside of the European Union, because again the scope of the event was pretty big. And again, we can take this into account for future events with a similar scope. And some final key takeaways. We would like to point out that probably the paper consumption could be managed in a better way. So of course, trying to take care of the sustainability part of the event. We had experienced like some emotional reactions from some participants to some of the training activities. Yeah, sorry. And of course, event documentation is like still going on, but again, it's just stuff that we can take into account for next event. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Fun fact, just two things I would like to point out for any sections that might host international events. One, if you, serious recommendation, if you host an international event with participants outside of the EU, do not use bank transfers to get fees, because the bank will email you if participants have any connection to Russia, right? Any transfers from places like Azerbaijan and stuff like that will be flagged by your bank, as it was with ours, and is double the work. And second of all, if you can use, my recommendations is that use EventUp and Stripe, because those do not get flagged because it's a third party. Okay? Next. Other initiatives. So, we're done with projects. Yay! Where's the end? So this is other things that we've been doing that we would like to call to your attention. Some of you might know, some of you might not know yet, has not been released, but all of them are interesting to you. So, I will first talk about, Carol, we'll talk about the grants tracker for you.
Yeah, so the grant tracker, it's like an Excel, we send an email on the 18th of June with this information. It's an Excel that with like all the funding opportunities for you, for all the ESN sections, and you just check here on the tab, you find a grant that matches your project, then you can check the eligibility and the deadline. And also sometimes the application link is available, but sometimes it's not because like the application is not open. This list is not exhaustive, so feel free to reach us out if you find other opportunities for grants.
Next. Margarita?
The logo calendar is a tool that we will make available very soon, and it's a tool that can simplify the work for the OCs at events, and it's composed of two things. First of all, a calendar that says exactly which logos are needed for each grant and event, and also there's a logo library that is both in a Canva document and in a Google Drive folder. And it contains the logos with colors in black and all in white. Hopefully this tool can help and simplify a very long process of looking for logos and finding the right colors. So
you don't have to bother poor Nadia about the logos. It's already there.
So it will be available very soon.
Okay, thank you. And one last thing, please go on. Next one.
So yeah, I created a survival guide for the next ESC volunteers within ESN Portugal because as foreign citizens we were facing lots of problems, especially for administrative things. So here are all the tips that we can give for the next ESC volunteers, like all the administrative procedures, and also like we got Portuguese classes. So here are written like all the different opportunities because we checked kind of pretty much all the opportunities like as an affordable price, everything about transportation, also healthcare because we have an insurance and how we can get reimbursed for medical expenses, and also there are some other tips about accessible activities in Coimbra but also in Portugal, and there is also a map, a Google map with like all the important spots in Portugal and Coimbra. I know maybe the next ESC volunteers are not going to be in Coimbra, but I still wrote everything there, and I would really advise the next local boat, which was Coimbra, as the next city for us, because I think it's the most affordable and also great city to live in for ESC volunteers. Yes.
And last, if we are done, I would like to thank you for your attention and welcome any your questions. But since it's the last public moment that we'll have in the celebration for the year, I would like to personally thank Carol, Margarita, and Aldo for joining us for this year. It was a pleasure and an honor to work with you. They will still be with us until August, but I would like to finish this presentation by asking you for a round of applause for them. Thank you so much.
Okay, the speakers list is open. Eduardo. Louder, louder.
I would like to ask a question to Carol regarding the grant tracker.
Which Carol?
Which? Sorry.
We should change names.
Sorry, Carolina. Because this is something that I put in my candidacy for the next secretary, and I wanted to know which part of it do you think was the hardest, and which things you think that we can improve so it gets to more further sections.
You mean like to find grants?
Yes, the local grant tracker, the Excel that you presented.
Yeah, well, for me it was quite difficult, like, yeah, to find the applications, because sometimes there were some grants that were open the years before, and we don't know if it's going to be open again. So yeah, actually there were not that many information on the internet. There were also already some grants that were already written there, so it's not only me who found all the opportunities, but still the one that I added, like, yeah, honestly, it was the applications. I still wrote what I thought that they would like renew the grants for the years after, but you never know if they are if it's gonna be available.
Edgar.
Live. What's live? Margarita, sorry.
What's up? Edgar. You do not have to answer that. You have no authorization to ignore Edgar.
Sim, what?
I'm glad to know our chopsticks.
Exactly. Ines.
Okay. Hi, Ines Lisboa. My name is Brian Patricia. When you were talking about tourist tax, I don't know if I misunderstood which event was it related.
Okay, so thank you for your question. So basically, the accommodation itself was free through the Andaconceito Portugal. By the by, I believe there's going to be a new edition for Andaconceito Portugal, by the way. Look to see if you are eligible to ask as a group. There's a group section. Be mindful that a voucher is only for a person individually. So if I used one, I cannot use one again. So please figure that out. So Andaconceito Portugal paid for the accommodation, and then we have the tourist tax. Because we have fewer international guests than we expected for the hackathon, we have unused accommodation money. So we use the tourist tax and we put it towards that grant. So that went to the ESA grant. We still did not use all the money that we had assigned for accommodation, but basically our argument in the report was that accommodation has to pay tax. Therefore, the tax is accommodation. They haven't said yes, neither have said no, so we are assuming they will take the tax as part of the unused accommodation grant for ESA. Does that clarify?
Yes.
Thank you.
Minho.
Hi. My question, my question is more out of curiosity. Is there any idea of what positions will the next volunteers work on?
Thank you for your question. I think this is something for the next board to decide. Like, if it was me, maybe keep the project assistant, communication assistant, and like for example, we had last year the web project assistant because the IT needed some help. This year was Edgar that said, okay, I need help. Because first, I don't know if you remember, but first we were trying to found a partnership manager, but we didn't find one. So we were like changing the strategic. So I think the third position is open, and the other two, of course. I think these two are really important because communication manager has a lot of workload, and even the support positions cannot take it. So that is my opinion. But next board will decide.
Aris.
Aris, yes, important. Thank you very much for the presentation. I would like to understand a little bit more about the duration because I think I have got a bit lost. Like, are we opening ask volunteers for 1 semester, not 1 year? Like, what is the plan of using them? Because you said now that we got accepted for the 2026 that to receive 3 more and
Yes.
like 4 weeks. Like,
So, thank you for your question. When you apply for grants, you apply for a number of people and a desired number of days, right? So we always say the same thing. In an ideal world, we want 3 people for a full year. And then they say no. And they give us an amount that they find reasonable. And it's usually divided by 3 people around 6 months. Usually like 23 weeks. Afterwards, then we have how many people we can host and for how many days. We decide after all the paperwork is done where we would like to have them. So we apply in February. We just got the papers officially to sign over everything this literally on Thursday. Pedro Almeida have things for you to sign, by the way, before I forget. And so that I believe that we could start recruiting now, but only host people, I believe in September, the earliest, for example, because we cannot spend money before all the papers. Between September of 2026 and September of 2027, we can use that 6 months however we like. Strategically, the National Board has decided that the second semester is usually heavier on work, therefore it makes sense to have them on the second semester. But through project rules, between the beginning of the project and the end of the project, any time in between is acceptable. We, as a federation, have decided that we want more help on the second semester than in the first. And that is a strategic position. There's no legality other than between the beginning and the end of the project. We kind of do as we wish. The duration, we split evenly in the planning, but that could be, for example, is also possible within this project. Let's say Aldo has slotted for 5 months exactly, but Carol leaves a week sooner. We can technically give another week to Aldo, if you would like. But that's kind of the most wiggle room we can get. So for example, we cannot have, if Aldo leaves a month early, we cannot have a person for 1 month, because we only got approved for 3 people, for example.
Can I do a follow-up?
Yes.
So now, if with the money that we got approved, we can receive September, and then we will apply again next February to receive on September, or we can receive also in January. Like I have lost a bit here. Now.
So approval, submission February.
Yes.
Approval, April, May. Papers, June, July. Once the papers are processed, you can officially welcome. And then you have 1 year to welcome those people. Because we do not have 1 year, we can choose between in that year what 6 months we would like. They will leave by August. I will have to report by December. And then I already have the funding for next year approved. And by the time I'm done recruiting the people that are coming next year, I'm already submitting for 2028. So there's always 3 processes that are happening: the reporting, the recruiting, and the funding for the year after.
Laura.
Laura, I think this initial is like more to Carolina and Patricia. I was just like to understand like how feasible is it to host ASH volunteers like on a local level, because we also have our own interns, but like it's just like through the normal Erasmus program. Like is it feasible because of all the bureaucracy to recruit people to work with us like through like the ASH program, or yeah, you understand?
I thank you for your question. I do not want to comment if it's feasible, because I believe it's each section's particular designation. What I can tell you is that it is a lot harder on an organization to do ESC than to do internship, because the only obligation that an internship welcoming organization or company has is to get them a position and support them in their work tasks and participate in their evaluation. I believe, I'm not very familiar, but I believe that's the main things. So you do not get funding for them, and you don't have like that many obstacles. Like this person only exists to me during work hours. In ESC it's different. You have to recruit them, you have to support them, you have to help them find a visa, you have to find them a home, you have to pay for that home, you have to pay for the bills of that home, you have to take care of insurance and all that. It is not impossible, because we kind of do that with our daily lives. So I don't think it's impossible, but it's a different scope. One thing is someone is performing a task. The other one is made of a project where the participants are thought as a whole, not just someone that comes to work for me. To get ESC volunteers, you need a quality label. The quality label is the hardest effort, because you have to prove that you have the human resources, the knowledge, and the basically the infrastructure to welcome them in your city. If that gets approved, your quality label, after that it gets easier because to apply for money, you just have to be like, my quality label is this number, this is my theme, and I want this many people. So I would recommend you look at the quality label, see what they ask for you to prove that you can do, and if in your assessment you believe you can fulfill the questions that they ask, then I would assume yes. Also, also reminder that the national agency only issues 80% of the budget, but you have to implement 100% of it before you get the report done. So also remember that you have to have some of your own organization's money available to make it happen. So not recommendable for organizations that do not have, that have severe budget constraints. It's not a lifeboat in any sort of way. If you have any questions, please reach out to me.
Barbosa.
Okay, so this question is for Alba. I just wanted to ask if you found any favorite Portuguese expression.
Okay.
Although this is being live streamed.
For the respect I have towards you and the national platform, I won't tell like on this stage. If you want, you can ask me during the coffee break.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
You can say.
No, you cannot.
Wait. They will cut the streaming, don't worry.
Oh my God.
You can say.
Stop.
We will have a coffee and you can.
Okay, so I propose to close the speakers list if anyone opposes. So the speakers list is closed and we can continue.
Okay. In the name of the national board, but particularly, I really want to thank you all for being here. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to spend more time with you, and with Carol especially, but with you all, with Margarita, we were together in 2 months. It was really, really nice to meet you. We had a lot of fun, as you can see by the questions, by Miguel and Edgar. Really inappropriate. And Patricia.
Yeah, say that's inappropriate in front of me.
And thank you, Patricia, for everything that you do for this federation. Sometimes I think you're not appreciated enough because people cannot, like you do this presentation, but people cannot understand the work that you do all your days. Like it's amazing, and we really thank you for that. And I'm sorry for being emotional. And that's it.
I have no feelings. I feel nothing.
Ai, já estou agora.
Did you cut the stream?
Não, aquele livro é para o profissional. A vossa apresentação é só a imagem.
Okay, we will continue, guys. We will continue to the next topic: expansion updates. Pedro Almeida.
Pedro. Olha, Pedro, traz o teu telemóvel. Traz. É assim. Vai lá buscar. Tá bom, olha que isto é. Dá cá.
Senão estava 3 vezes
So, hello guys. Hello guys. So we are now going to present the expansion updates, so what we have been doing in terms of expansion. And today with me we have our expansion officer, Francisca Caruso, and she will be the one presenting these because I have to thank her for all the effort that she put on the expansion strategy of ESM Portugal, and we couldn't do anything without her, and she's the one dealing with all the process, and she's doing an amazing job, so thank you so much. But the floor is yours.
Okay.
Hi. So, next. Okay. So I divided this presentation into 3 to 4 points. The first one is to explain you a bit how the process has been with possible future ESN Santarém, which is called Escalabis Way. Escalabis because Escalabitano is a person from Santarém. As you may have seen from an email sent by Pedro not too long ago, Escalabis Way was approved as an informal group of ESN Portugal on June 18th. This process has been going on for about 4 months. We had the first meeting in Santarém in February, and we left hopeful-ish, but not too much. But then, kind of out of nowhere, a few people from the buddy program of Instituto Politécnico de Santarém decided we want to do this, and they started working very fast. So before they were actually an association or even a group of people with enough people to actually do this, they were already organizing a few events, mostly more informal things through the buddy program. So lunches every week with everyone, night outs, but that still counts. They were still working on creating memories and events for the international students and giving out their help. So, right about 2 weeks after I explained the whole process to them, they already had 9 people for the statutory bodies, which are complete now. They have a president, a VP, and a treasurer, and then all the bodies of the chairing, all the positions of the chairing team and the audit team complete as well. They quickly also established contact with the Instituto Politécnico de Santarém, the municipality of Santarém, and the Junta de Freguesia de Santarém as well. All of them very excited, all of them very ready to help. Instituto Politécnico de Santarém immediately gave them a physical address and are now actively working in finding them a space in Politécnico de Santarém for them to have an actual office space. If not, the Junta de Freguesia was also trying hard to find them a space as well. And one good thing, very positive thing, the only thing the Junta de Freguesia asked in exchange for this was, oh, if we help you, we want you to go to high schools and talk about mobility and Erasmus. So they actually want us to do the Erasmus in schools from their own initiative instead of ours. So right now they have formally constituted the association on the 22nd of May. And they have an appointment at the end of this month to open activities so that they can actually register in IPDJ and have all the bureaucratic processes done, which is amazing. I am truly in awe of their work because they've been working fast and they've been working really hard to make this happen. So, to explain you about their structure and organization. So, as I said, they have the statutory bodies complete with 3 positions in each one. At the moment, they are 15 people, but this is prior to a formal recruitment, which they will have in September. So for now, these are just the 15 friends they've gathered, like, do you want to be part of this? Do you want to help? And they managed. Apart from the statutory bodies, there's a secretary coordinator, a projects and causes coordinator, a communication manager, and an events manager. They are also looking into find a partnerships manager. And no one is having at the moment 2 positions, so none of the people who are coordinators are in the board, in the chairing team, or the audit team. And they have been divided in departments/communities. Right now, they have the statutes fully done, because to create formally the association they had to do that. For the internal regulations, we will do that together this month, because part of our expansion strategy is create facsimile for these documents. This one will not be a facsimile, it will be more a joint venture on working on that facsimile while actually trying to do already a document for them and for their reality. Sorry. So, sorry. Status and next steps. After they become the association Scala Bisway, they've already organized events of by themselves with their name, more structured ones. So they did, for example, quiz night. They did a picnic before FNA, which is Feira Nacional da Agricultura, I think, which is a big event in Santarém. So they did kind of an international picnic before the FNA. They went to Consórcio Erasmus Centro in Tomar, representing EPS, from EPS asking them to go there and represent them. So this was good. This means recognition from the Higher Education Institute. And once they open, as I said, the activity this month, they will register the association in IPDJ. We will be done with the most bureaucratic stuff. They have started to plan the recruitment for September or October, probably September, but they don't know yet, because right now their focus is they want to plan and starting to define their welcome month for September. First of all, to start hard, right? Start pushing to get as many events as they can with their time and the time of their volunteers, in order to create a name for themselves. Another thing that's pretty good and shows recognition is that Polytechnic Santarém basically just put on them the task of distributing our survival guides. So Polytechnic is already relying on them for welcoming international students. They also said that they can have stands in any welcome day from any faculty they want within the Polytechnico. So they think they can get their name out there, and they think they can do a welcome month with at least 2 events per week, which would be pretty great. So, why Santarém and why now? If you look into the expansion strategy 24-26, it was a priority back then. It was one of the top 5 priorities, was Santarém, but it was the last one. However, this part of the expansion strategy, it is needed, because we need to define priorities and start to think, okay, where should we tackle first, last? But it's very volatile, because we can be in conversations with higher education institutions, because they would like to have an ESN section there, but it won't happen because there's not a group of people who is involved and caring and willing to do the work to actually create an ESN section. So this happened just because we were already in conversations with them, but only moved forward because we actually found a group that's very interested, very eager. As soon as I sent them a text saying, oh, I'm going to present about you guys in the next national platform, and he said, should we be there? We can get to Braga. I was like, no, don't worry. It's just to tell people how it's going. But they are very eager to join ESN. They are very eager to do this, and I think the city itself has potential. They welcome about 70 international international students just in Polytechnic de Santarém per semester, and there's also another higher education institution, which is ISLA, it's a private one. And at first we were like, maybe we shouldn't put ISLA into the picture, but it was the president of Polytechnic de Santarém that said, no, but talk to ISLA as well, so we could welcome their international students. So I think there's a variety of factors here that create a good incubator for this project of a section, and that's why Santarém, that's why now I think all the, at least bureaucratic and more, how would I say, petty barriers. For example, we talked, Patricia and I, on the meeting we had in Santarém, we talked with the SUs and explained that an ESN section does not invade their space, and they seemed pretty convinced. They have not sent petty emails since, so I think...
Cease and desist.
Exactly. So I think that all the barriers that would be there somehow are not, and that was good work from them. That was quick work from them, and that was good creation of connections with them calling everyone, everything. They've already made connections with IPDJ. I don't even know if it is IPDJ in general or IPDJ Santarém, because they just every 2 days they've made a new connection, and they're calling me to tell me, oh, we did this, we talked to that person. So I'm very happy with how this is turning out, and I hope it continues. Sorry?
Edgar. Ok, Mel.
So, in standing order,
Mariana.
first of all, Mariana, no, yes, I'm yes. Congratulations on the presentation, on the presentation.
Louder, please.
It's really difficult today. So, in standing orders, it mentions that one of the duties of informal groups is to ensure the existence of a buddy program in the city where they are located. This is being done. I know you mentioned something around the buddy program, but I didn't understand.
So, basically, there's already a buddy program in Polytechnic de Santarém, which doesn't work as a buddy program in our concept of a buddy program. It isn't one-to-one if called for. It works kind of like an ESN section. There's a buddy coordinator or something, I don't know the name of the position, which is someone who gets a scholarship to just integrate the international students, and then there are a few volunteer students that help as like padrinhos e madrinhas in our faculties and universities. But the person from the Núcleo de Relações Internacionais, external international relations, thank you, was the one who contacted or insisted on the previous buddy coordinator to contact us, and the more recent one as well. So I think that they get the concept of we would enter that space, and their buddy program and the funding that they get could be for an ESN section. I don't know. I'm not the president. I'm the president of Polytechnic Santarém, but I have talked to Escola Bisway, and they know this, and they said yes. I think that it would be great that the buddies could be one-to-one if needed, if we have the platform. So I think the buddy program exists with an ESN section, especially an ESN section so supported by the institution, their own buddy program might become obsolete. But if they have funding for that, maybe they will help fund a buddy program in our terms.
Porto, José Porto. Então, Melo, you can do the second question.
Okay, so it's not related to Escola Visual, but I feel like this is a question we should revisit. So 1 year ago, yes, and Almada was willing to downgrade from a section to a candidate member, and I would just like to know if there is any updates regarding yes and Almada, if they are fulfilling the duties of a candidate member, I don't know, anything you can use.
So this is a complicated topic because there is no process described in the statutes or in the internal standing orders of what was done 1 year ago. So they do not have any kind of activity, they are not complying with their duties, they are not doing anything, they do not exist. That's it. So what we should do, I don't know, because the process started wrong in the beginning. Like instead of proposing to downgrade, it should be an expulsion, not how it was done. So we need to solve it one way or another, or by an expulsion, or just understanding that they are not here already. And also they were, but no,
Yeah.
because as a candidate member they do not need to be accepted by the
Yes.
Aris is important. Can I ask something as a follow-up on top of this? Like, if they don't exist, are we planning to do something? Are we planning to expel them from candidate section, or we're going to have them there candidate section forever?
That was something that we only discussed like one time during this year because we thought that this should, it was not a priority, it's not a problem. And with the problems that happened throughout the year, that was not one problem that we thought of. However, as they are not complying with the duties, I think the most correct thing is basically to propose the expulsion because there is no activity, there is no prospection of having any activity soon, so what they are doing at the second date section, they are not doing anything. So.
Aris, you have a question, you can do the question.
Aris is important. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's really nice and you have put a lot of work on this and we can see it. We would like to understand a little bit more about the background of this group of people because like I was searching them in social media and stuff like that and they don't exist. They start things now like 4th of June and like they were just a group of people that they approached us and then they start making an association. We were the ones recommending them to make an association.
So, basically, we went to Santarém to have a meeting in February, and Patricia may have a different opinion of what she thought the meeting would be, but I thought I was meeting with a group of people that wanted to create ESN Santarém. What happened instead was that we met with the buddy program coordinator, which is a student, as I said, it is a scholarship-based program, and the SUs. In a way, the meeting was fruitful because we got to know the troubles and worries of the SUs about another association entering their space. And we got to tell them, no, don't worry, this is another thing. However, I left there thinking that the buddy program coordinator was part of a group of people that simply weren't there that wanted to create ESN Santarém. And the student association, the student unions, said that yes, we will look for people that are not from the SUs but are associated with the SUs to constitute this group as well. There was one student association that already had 2 people for this project, and they are now in the group, which is the sports school, the one that is in Rio Maior. They receive about half of the international students of Polytechnic Santarém, and these 2 people were very eager and were people that were not from the SU, so they took it upon themselves to create the ESN section as well. However, what happened was that 2 weeks after, one of the buddies called me saying, oh, how do you create an ESN section? And I was like, I think I explained that 2 weeks ago, but okay. And he said, oh, we thought, him and the other buddy that wanted to start this, we thought that meeting wasn't for us. We weren't invited, kind of. We thought it was for the SUs. So we started from 0 again, and these 2 buddies already had a few friends that were interested in the idea. I told them, okay, now, if you're looking for more people to make this reality, there's the buddy program coordinator who also wants to be part of this. There's the people from the SU of the sports school who also want to be part of this. And they just gathered a few friends that wanted to be part of this and wanted to create ESN Santarém from the start and from scratch. And that's how we got here. But we got here because they found that those people very fast, because it was friends interested in the idea. Some of them were already buddies, some of them weren't, but were interested in the buddy program as well. So it just kind of happened that they moved really fast.
Yeah, just to compliment, we received emails from them, we received email from them, like since the previous national board, but it was never a priority. We also received emails in the beginning of the year, but then they started calling me and messaging me and everything. So we decided in December, like, okay, let's start this process, let's make this effort. And then I had a meeting with them in, I think, January, with the student unions and also with the students from the buddy program that they call buddy program that they have there. And then this process that Kika described started.
Yes. Like, because they seem really, ideally, really ready. But like, I don't really understand if they are a group of people that they came just in January, like, they don't have a presence, what they are doing in the university, what kind of association they are and they want to join ESN, and like a little bit more about their background, because if they don't have presence online and they are not doing anything in the university, like, why they have statutory bodies already? Like,
they have statutory bodies because they wanted to, they would always be an informal group in the eyes of ESN 12. And they will be an informal group until they are approved to be a candidate member, and they will be a candidate member until they are approved to be a section, if so. But even if they were an informal group, in our eyes, they wanted to do this by the book, so they wanted to be an association, they wanted to be able to move money around legally as well. So creating the association was a priority for them. I think that probably mostly because one of the members of the board is a person of associativism and has always been involved with youth. Political youth associations, whatever. So he wanted to, youth political parties. So they wanted to do this by the book. That's why before having an online presence for them, it was more important to have an association. Also because there is no risk in them creating the association. Because if you're an association, if you're a youth association, you can go to Associação na Hora, create an association, pay 300 euros, and once you register in IPDJ, they will give them back to you. they will give them back to you. So there's no risk for them, and they wanted to do things by the book. They created the Instagram not too long ago, but I already gave them the Vim for them to start to understand how we work. They've already got communication coordinator, so their idea is to have their Instagram more ready, but it's also a challenge because we want them to kind of start working with the Vim, but at the same time they cannot use our name and our image. So that's, I think, why they don't have an online presence yet, and also because as a formalized group, they're starting now at the end of the semester. I'm not sure how buildable it is during summer, but they will do their welcome month in September and try to do their events and how many they can do. So
and also, for them to create an association, they need to have like an informal group of friends that with minutes saying that we want to create an association. So it's like a legal measure that they have to comply with. And regarding the background, most of them are students of the Polytechnic Center.
Okay, we have some questions, but I propose to close the speakers list now. Okay.
Posso fazer a minha?
Podes fazer a tua, Edgar.
I have two questions. You said that the EPS give a physical address. Where?
In EPS.
Where? Because this will take to another thing. Where is in EPS? I will explain why. Because probably you don't know, but EPS and IPT are building a building in IPT campus. And the target of that building is to move all the associations, the academic association of Santarém and all the associations of IPS to IPT. So, what is the impact that this will have for SN Tomar? Since we will have the building in IPT that is in Tomar.
For now, it is not a problem because they are based in Santarém. We have students in Santarém. That's where the activity needs to run.
Yeah, but regardless of that, they will move all the associations to IPT.
No, but they can recruit. They are not dependent of the
And they have the
Polytechnic.
support of the municipality and the junta.
Yes,
So
they will.
if they refuse, they have options.
They cannot move from Santarém. They have their students in Santarém. They have to stick to Santarém.
What will happen if they move? Like, what will happen? Sorry.
The students will not move. Sorry, not yet.
Podes responder?
Uma morada fiscal pode ser uma caixa de correio.
É isso, eles dizem que já estão. Sorry, a physical address can just be a mailing box, and that's basically it. They are saying that the Polytechnic is still looking for a space for them, and the junta as well, but for now they needed a physical address to constitute their association, and the Polytechnico gave them at least a mailing box.
Yeah, okay. It's related. Because it's
Yes.
related.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So like, ESN Tomar and ESN Santarém will be different things. Will be also transformed in ESN Santarém?
No.
No.
We have students in Tomar. We have ESN Tomar. We have students in Santarém. We have ESN. We will have maybe, I don't know, ESN Santarém. That's it. So we go where the students are. If EPS closes, ESN Santarém closes probably.
These students already exist and already are being served by the buddy program and probably not by ESN Tomar. The only thing is that the buddy program would possibly be an ESN session.
Porto, José Porto.
José Porto, ESN Portugal. First, thank you for the presentation. It was really clear. It seems like you're doing a great job, especially with a vacant strategic position above you. My question is about, as far as you're able to tell us, how their finances are they stable, sustainable?
So they just started, so there cannot be an auditing of how their finances work. I think that for the events that they did very low risk things, very low price things. They didn't lose any money, but at the same time, you cannot evaluate clearly without big events. But that's a risk that they will have to take, and that wasn't an issue for them, but that was something that I explained to them, was that they cannot sell ESN cards until they are an ESN, so they might have to risk a bit in bigger events that they do, but that's worked out by doing paid events. And the students within the buddy program also pay to go to the things that they informally arrange. So I think.
Claudia. Just like Claudia.
Just a comment regarding this situation. It could be nice if we as ESN Portugal help them to apply for IPJ grants, because it's a way they start having money in their bank
Yes,
accounts.
that's also another
Since they
conversation.
are already registered as an association, they can do that.
Yes, that's also another conversation I have with them, is that grants are a thing, and they are well aware, because again, they went to talk with IPJ before they even had an association formalized. So I think they are just trying to pass through all the bureaucratic steps first, and then starting to do that.
But for now, for the state that they are very okay financially.
Okay. I propose to close the speakers list now. If anyone oppose?
I'm writing.
Inês Z.
Okay, hello, Inês Z is in Lisboa. So first of all, I love that you guys are matching. Second, thank you Vicky for your work. You already gave me a round on this back in March, and I appreciate all your work you've done since then. My questions are a bit follow-up from Porto, but how do you see the role of ESN Portugal in providing advice and support related to financial aspect of it?
So yes, in Portugal, helping financially
Not with money, but with all the advice and so on. What should the role of ESN Portugal, grants and so on?
Yeah. So we have actually that described in our internal standing orders. That right now, by being an informal group, they have the right to have our advice and our help, and they can also come to our events if the national board invites them. And I think that could be a nice next step for training events, to train them, to start training step by step. Financially, the ESN Portugal does not have it on the budget. The only thing that comes from the budget to expansion is the trips that me and the expansion officer and the rest of the national board and also secretariat had to make already and will make to ensure that everything is running smoothly. I hope I covered your question.
Yes.
So the other part, because I want to make a compound question. So from the perspective of someone that did not start the association, from the beginning, how is it financially? Because even if the events are paid, there are still other expenses not related to events. So how does that process works in the beginning?
So I think they have internalized goodwill in this. I think that's the most clear and honest answer. That's also why they haven't started by doing events that may risk money. I think that the Welcome Month will help with that if they manage to do some events that maybe do a bit of profit to support other events. That would be good. But I think they have the goodwill of maybe sometimes we will lose money and that's okay to start. Also, that's what Pedro was asking me, who ended up paying the 300 euros to register the association, because at some point there was some talking of the Polytechnic paying, but talking was becoming a bit, they were kind of stalling, and they didn't want to wait anymore, and so the president of Escola Bisway, Duarte, paid the 300 euros. He still hasn't been able to register the association in the PDJ, so he still hasn't got his money back. And he seems okay with that, with it being the goodwill of the process. I think that's the most honest answer here, because creating it from the groundwork will be hard. Again, the thing that we will suggest is precisely what Polly was saying, of trying to find grants to be able to get that first part of the path going.
Carolina.
Can you show me the questions, please?
Sorry, and that's why the focus on them having a secretariat coordinator from the get-go.
Okay, so Camila Sanchez and Lisboa. First, congratulations for your work. It's really good to see you over there. You talk about the events they organized, and I would like to know if you have any type of information about how they went, feedback from the participants or numbers, like any information in general.
They went well. The numbers are, from my understanding, and again, I think this analysis will completely change in the next semester, because the format will change, because they are existing at the same time as the buddy program will evolve and adapt. But right now I am in the WhatsApp group of Erasmus in Santarém, which is basically all the international students that are in Polytechnic Santarém that the buddy program coordinator put in the WhatsApp group. And all of them, it's always the same people that kind of go, but it's always kind of the same amount as well, which is a good amount. But again, they started these events, at least the more formalized ones, and more towards the end of the semester. And while these groups of international students within this thing of the buddy program already existed, so I think for the quiz night they had 18 international students, which having them 70 is not a bad number. And for the picnic it was something around that number as well. So, and because it included a party, I think it had, for the FNA, the Traditional Luter, I think they had a little more, but the group chat is still very active. They also keep organizing the lunches every week, and I see that it's almost always the same people that go. But at the same time, that constant exists. But it's an analysis that I can tell you that I made, but can tell you that probably won't be exactly the same next semester, because the dynamic will naturally change.
Okay.
You can do the second one.
Okay. It's about events as well, because I was a bit confused on how they are promoting it or publishing it. You said about the WhatsApp groups, and I wanted to understand if they are publishing like on any other platform or only by WhatsApp group.
Only by WhatsApp group, but at the moment I think it's normal because they are playing it safe, and that's exactly it. There's a buddy program coordinator who knows who are the international students from Polytechnic Santarém and basically put them all into a WhatsApp group. So they have their public already there, so they have not been publishing.
Then they're going to have like maybe social media?
No, they are. They already created an Instagram, as I told Aries before. But they are organizing the communication strategy for the welcome month specifically. It didn't kind of make sense to start now with this group that already responded to the activities that were planned within that WhatsApp group. I think that's the...
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I propose to close the speakers list now. Okay, so after Sam, but can you send the message by WhatsApp and we close now, okay? Because we really have to continue. So if anyone oppose, I propose to close the speakers list. Speakers list is closed. And Minho.
Hi, Maria João Silva, Senhor. Firstly, congratulations. I feel like you're doing a really good job. I'm a bit confused on the timeline. Basically, you're helping them set the association itself. Like, it's still very initial phase, right? You're still assessing what's going on. What are the next steps with us? Like, I'm a bit lost with that.
So, sorry, what's going on part was in the beginning of this, was in like February or March. I never thought that it would go so fast, but once the people that were really interested were the people that were actually in contact with me instead of the student associations, it went really fast and it wasn't confused anymore. They found the people, they made the group, they were all interested and they wanted to get through the bureaucratic part fast in order to then be able to function properly.
And regarding the part of the question, what are next steps with us? So the next steps for them as an association, Kika already presented, but with us, what could be if the process continue to go in the same pace that is going right now. Basically, at the end of November, we could have already the application for the candidate section, and after that, maybe in March, if it all goes with the perfect way and this pace, we could vote for them for federate members. But again, this needs to be regular.